Kenya is one of the fastest growing economies in Africa. But when it comes to housing, the system is not keeping up. Affordable housing demand continues to rise, while access to formal housing finance remains limited. This was the challenge we set out to address with support from Project Catalyst.
There's a massive demand. The backlog is over 2 million units. The government has a target of 200,000 new housing units every year. The production is still somewhere between 1,000 to 3,000 units, so the shortfall is immense.
First of all, there's a very quiet mortgage market, so there's just not many mortgages that people are taking up.
18, 19 million people here don't get a payslip, so they can't get a mortgage.
This is not just a housing problem, it is a financing problem. Traditional mortgage systems are not built for the way many households in Kenya actually earn, save, and pay.
Access to international finance and development finance is really important because we have an extremely high interest rate for development and high risk premiums.
With Catalyst support, Empowa set out to explore a new model for affordable housing finance in Kenya. The goal was to test whether Cardano technology could support capital markets-grade infrastructure for real-world housing. Together with the Nairobi Securities Exchange, we proposed a framework that could connect global capital, local housing demand, and more flexible pathways to homeownership.
This is why the partnership with the Nairobi Securities Exchange matters. This is not just about building homes. It's about building the financial infrastructure that can help capital flow more effectively to developers and homeowners.
Capital markets should play a bigger role, no doubt, to growing Kenya's affordable housing plan. So, and how does capital markets come in? Simply on both sides, because affordable housing has to be developed and someone has to buy into it. So on the development side of things, enabling developers to faster and easier tap into capital markets to actually raise capital to build quality.
The process begins with an investor making investments into the Empowa platform. Next, the community provides collateral to the Empowa platform. The Empowa platform then issues loans to the developer. The developer uses the funds to provide a rent-to-own facility for a family. The family then makes rent-to-own payments back to the developer. The developer uses these payments to make loan repayments back to the Empowa platform. The Empowa platform issues returns to both the investor and the community. And this is where the Nairobi Securities Exchange becomes a powerful next step.
The project with the NSE matters because this work is bigger than a single housing project. What we're building is a market system, one that can bring together developers, investors, and end users through capital market logic. This is what makes this partnership strategically important. With Catalyst support, we'll deliver 3 core components. First, a structuring layer designed to ground housing issuances in market realities. Second, a tokenization platform designed to support regulated marketplace logic. Third, Cardano-based smart contracts designed to support transparency, automation, and governance. Together, these components move the model from concept towards real market infrastructure. They help affordable housing function more like a capital markets instrument while staying connected to real-world demand.
NSE we have been exploring with Empowa, particularly to do with demand-side intervention to enable home ownership. Can we have a rent-to-own model where a developer who is selling some of these houses as a rent-to-own, and that way the developer can sell down their holding in the rent-to-own scheme, and the investor, on the other hand, gets the revenues from this rent-to-own scheme over a period of time, and eventually to the homeowner, how it will look like for them is that the homeowner will be paying regular monthly payments, but at the end of a given period, they become a homeowner.
We were not starting from a blank page. Through Empowa's earlier work in Mozambique, we had already seen that more flexible housing finance models are working in practice. Catalyst allowed us to take that learning and build a more structured, more regulated, and more capital markets ready system for Kenya.
cost you spend on housing or your household is not your priority. Your first priority is food, then it's education and health, and then you'll need to pay for transport.
But for this to work at scale, the model also has to work for developers.
It's a school industry of churches, shopping malls.
When it comes to how risky developments are in this part of the world, I think one of the greatest benefits that we are getting from Empowa's investment is the de-risking that kind of capital is able to do for developers.
Catalyst support helped us build on proven learning from the ground and move toward a more structured, more regulated, and more market-ready system for Kenya. And that is the foundation for what comes next.
Many people underestimate the dysfunctional nature of the economic and financial systems in the emerging markets. We've talked about it if you know Empowa and you know what the work we've been doing for a number of years, you'll know the story that we've been telling about informality and the challenge that informality brings to the financial system. Well, we're really proud to announce the next phase in our journey. We started this journey by demonstrating that if you give people the chance to pay for their housing the same way that they earn, variably and intermittently, without the need for formal proof of income, we've proved that people can and will pay for their houses. We've now performed the next stage, and that is the ability to attract capital into this space. And that's the really, really important part of this, because it's around investment, creating an investment structure, attracting investment into this space. In the developed world and developed markets, this is how it works. We know that more than 85% of the GDP of most developed nations is invested into mortgages. And yet in emerging markets, it's less than 1%. It's a fraction of 1% in many emerging markets. So the challenge for us is, how do we attract capital into this space? We've now laid these foundations. We've proven that people can and will pay, and now we've tokenized these cash flows. We've demonstrated that we can invest into this space, manage these cash flows, attract investment into this space. And we've done this with partners, some leading partners in Africa. And for that, we are eternally grateful. And we look forward to the next exciting step in our journey. Thanks for joining our journey.